Hello, officials, and welcome to the postseason. This is Tyler Spear, your state coordinator of football officials. Once again, I want to thank you for your time and all your hard work this season. Joined this week by our WHSAA State Director of Officials, Mr. Mike Maloney. Mike, thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here, Tyler. Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, uh, as we get into the postseason, I asked Mike to join us, officials, and just share some thoughts and words of wisdom with us this morning as we kind of put a bow on this season. So, Mike, the floor is yours.
Well, thanks again, Tyler. It is a privilege to deliver a message to all of our football referees. Whether you work at the sub-varsity levels or work a state championship game this year, the WHSAA truly appreciates your efforts with all the games worked and miles traveled. As the football season winds down, it is time to look forward and discuss ideas for continued improvement. In the last couple of years, we have rewritten the Wyoming Sports Officials Handbook. We've expanded and improved our football referee camp offerings. We've incorporated weekly trainings, emails with video clips for our referees and coaches. And we've brought Tyler Spear on as our football coordinator and Chris Edwards on as our football representative, who do a great job, and a great deal of effort goes into supporting you all from those two gentlemen. And I appreciate their hard work. If you have any ideas, thoughts, suggestions to further improve football officiating, please contact Tyler, Chris, or me and let us know. The only pressing issue I see with football is our need for additional referees, like in many other sports. I would ask that you all work to try and recruit folks in your area in an effort to grow our numbers. Former and current players and fans are a great place to start. We do currently have 10 Wyoming high schools offering officiating classes. I would encourage all of you to get involved and help out referees in your community that are in developmental programs, such as youth referee leagues or high school classes. So once again, on behalf of the WHSAA, I would really like to just thank you all for all you do for the young people of Wyoming and wish you a great postseason or a great off season.
Well, thank you, Mike. And I would just echo, shout out to those schools that are doing refereeing classes and getting students interested at a younger age. And certainly, if there's any need or interest in having some training materials for communities, maybe where there isn't a crew, let Mike or I know, and we are happy to be a resource for you. So, um, really want to make sure we can get some new crews in some of these communities that don't have ones. All righty. Well, Mike, thank you for your time, sir. And we appreciate all you do for all of us as officials across the state.
You bet. Thanks again, Tyler.
All righty. Take care. Okay, officials, we'll go ahead and we'll jump in to the film review portion of this video now. So I'll go ahead and get my screen started here. All right, refs, thanks for your patience. Um, the same with the theme of this week here. You'll notice in the weekly email that our theme was getting the little things right. And certainly as we get into the postseason, as it kind of says, there's always that little wrinkle, whether it's a penalty enforcement or a wonky carryover thing into overtime or whatever it might be. There's always something that creeps up and bites us in the postseason. And so as we prepare for our contests this week and throughout the postseason, I would just encourage you to do a really thorough pregame. I think that's important to start with, just because, if we pregame things, then our minds are set where they need to be. Going over those when in doubt principles, going over some of those special enforcements, that's really important. And so this week's film study, I've got 3 clips that we're going to look at, and they're pieces of that getting the little things right here. And so for this first clip here, and I'll try and loop through this. With the Federation Network. It's always hard to tell um, quite how we can time it. But actually, let me see. I think this might not be the right one. Give me just a moment, please. Okay. So for this clip here, I'll set it up. We are first and goal at the 10. And the theme for this particular play is related to penalty enforcement. And so One of the things with penalty enforcement is we want to make sure that all the roles are filled and we want to make sure we get it right. And so we're on the 10, we're going in. What does that mean? That means we might have specialty enforcements here. So let me go ahead, I'll let this play and we'll go from there. Okay. So what we have are a couple layers to this. The first thing is we have multiple flags down, right? And so anytime officials where you have multiple flags down, and so in this situation, we've got three on the ground here as the U, the H, and the R all throw on this particular foul. And there's no question what the foul is or that it is a foul for a personal foul face mask. But the kicker here is we should never assume that we all three have the same thing, or anytime there's multiple flags, even if it's both sideline officials on what would be seemingly an obvious false start, we want to make sure and come together. Don't go running in giving some preliminary signal because we all look like idiots if the LJ comes in rolling the wrists for false start and the HL comes in tapping his hips for a DOF. All of a sudden, we look kind of silly. You basketball officials out there have heard the phrase of a blarge. This is our version of a blarge, and we don't want that. So anytime we have multiple flags, we want our officials, let's dead ball officiate, which we've got dead ball officiating happening. Thank you, back judge, for coming in. But we come together and we make sure that we're all on the same page here. That's super important just in case there is anything funky. You don't want your white hat going into his penalty announcement and then all of a sudden go, oh, wait a second. You guys had face mask. I had defensive holding or something of that nature. And so make sure that we just are on the same page when it relates to penalty enforcement. The next thing here, as we'll let this go through, is as we transition from dead ball officiating, excuse me, into conversation, and now we're headed into penalty enforcement, we kind of have to hustle because at the end of the day, our goal here is we want the ball down by the time the referee finishes his announcement. And so here, White Hat could probably pick up his flag before going into his penalty announcement just because it prevents a delay later. Our wing official here, try and hustle back and help the umpire. Because remember, officials, what we're looking at here is that the umpire and the headlinesman are going to march this penalty together. And then down here on the bottom, I don't know if we'll be able to see him, but our LJ, he's our last line of defense to make sure that the math corrected or the math went correctly. So if we're going from the 5, clearly here we're going to the 2.5, and he's our last line of defense here. You see the umpire right there. He crosses his arms, letting everybody know we're going half the distance. HL marches. We're replaying the down. And then we want the LJ to mirror. And then all three of these guys here, 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 we all want to check up and make sure that we are on the same page as it relates to where we ended up. And then the last thing that's always really important, if someone can do it, and you see the umpire do it here, let me back up and catch it for you. Watch the umpire's hand right here. This is another piece of penalty enforcement that can really help us. We've got our half the distance. What you're going to see at the end of this is watch the umpire's hand, and you'll see him give a little winding signal. Umpires, back judges, really anyone, give your referee clock status. In the midst of an announcement, and I'm guilty of this, thank you to my umpire here, someone give the referee clock status because it's super important part of our game. It's a part of the game that we as officials should really deeply own. We don't want a clock issue. We don't want to just assume it's good. We don't just want to let the back judge who's back here taking a nap. We don't want him to be the only one that's responsible for clock. Clock responsibilities on all of us. Excuse me. So just make sure that you're communicating with your referee what the clock status is, whether it's hot and you're going to give him that little wind, or whether you're going to X your wrists or whatever your signal is to let cover the watch, whatever it is to let the referee know that this is a dead clock or a hot clock. So make sure that we all participate and get penalty enforcements correctly. Make sure our clock status is good here. That's a big part of our game. It's probably the part that gets us some of the most criticism. But if we can do things quickly and seamlessly, we can make sure that the game gets back into its rhythm in a timely manner here. Pretty decent job here. If the white hat picks up his flag before announcing, that ball's on the ground, the white hat can turn and start the contest. We want to make sure we're efficient in penalty enforcement. All right. Our next clip here, I'm excited to say we have two angles of, and I'm going to make sure that both angles work. But what we have here is a unique penalty. And the theme of this particular play is another one of those little things that I want you to really focus on this postseason, and that is seeing the whole thing. I'll just let it go and then we'll watch, and then we'll go from there. We're going to be watching that wide receiver that goes in motion and his block. We have a marker down on this play. I'll let it go through one more time here. I want a little further back. Here we go. That is the head linesman's key. He's really watching. Obviously, it's at the point of attack on that little sweep play here. There we go. The running back goes off tackle here. So some indicators here, right? And we want to really think about this particular foul, but I'm going to throw you the end zone view here. And I think this end zone view gives us a little more information, and then we'll talk about what we're looking for. Thank you for your patience as I do this. Okay. So this is the same play, and we'll just let it go here a little bit. See the motion across. All right, again, we're looking at 15's block on 33 here. Okay, so in these situations, we've got to think about what did we see, what did we not see here. And I can understand why this was thrown, but I want to throw a little bit of a philosophical wrinkle in there and why I want you to see the whole play. And so as this play gets started, our first contact is in a legal position. So if we're thinking about block in the back, we can see that this particular block is on the side and the player maintains contact throughout. If he maintains contact throughout, we don't have a foul for block in the back. The other piece of this that I want you to see is that in essence, 33 kind of misreads this, and all 15 does with his legal block is take him where he wants to go. Now, maybe there was separation, and again, that's where maybe this goes in a marginal bucket versus an incorrect bucket, but ultimately, we want to see the whole thing as it relates to this particular foul or any foul that you throw that's a judgment call. Make sure you see how a block started, how it ended. Don't just see a dude on the ground and go, oh, snap, and throw on it. Make sure you see the whole thing here. And so, again, I would probably support not throwing on this one. I can see the indicators. And again, maybe our film, there's an argument to be made that maybe there was separation and a second shove, but I'm pretty confident we have something we don't need to throw on this one. So again, the philosophy here, and it should be more so as we go into the playoffs, is make our fouls big. Think about that bullseye from last week. Think about the buckets for holding, the buckets for DPI and OPI. Make sure we're seeing the entirety of it. Make sure our eyes are where they need to be, just so that if we do throw on something, we can be really confident that it was not just what we thought it was. Because if you think it's a foul, it's not a foul. Make sure that it is a foul and that it is a foul, and then we can throw on it. So again, this isn't to dig or throw rocks on anything. It's just a matter of let's be mindful of what we're throwing and why. All right, one more for us this week. Sorry for making you look at my ugly mug. Okay. Our third clip here I like to consider in the other small but big part of our officiating duty, and that is dead ball officiating. So as we look at this particular play here, you'll notice it's the opening kickoff. Quarter one, 12 minutes on the clock. Another indicator for us that it's the opening kickoff is that we have a wing guy that's moved up. Kind of nice to have two dudes on ours free kick line if we have recon that perhaps it's a short kick. Otherwise, mechanically look at where we need to be on this. Maybe an adjustment because of the two wings being up is okay, but make sure where we've got big holes that we know where the coverage is going to be, right? Because that's the hardest part in a crew of five is that we have to make sure that we cover the big holes here. But anyways, we have a short kick. It's recovered by the receiving team. And what I really want to draw your attention to is really nothing that happens on the kick. I'll let it go, and then we can talk about it. Okay. Short kick recovered by the receiving team on the 40. The spot's good. Not trying to pick on anybody, but I'm going to pick on somebody here. I want you to watch our line judge here and his mechanics after this is kicked. I think our eyes are okay here. We have it dead. And I don't know what this is. We're stopping the clock and we are staring at the restricted area. We aren't officiating a thing, folks. And this is just, it's not a good look, guys. We've got a confluence of all these dudes here. You've got others rushing in. And yeah, it's the opening kickoff, but we still have all of our people here. This guy's in the thick of it. This guy's in here. Our oppo wing here has the widest cone of vision opportunity and probably the best of just about anybody. Our two officials down here are too far away. Our line judge here has the best wide cone of vision in case we have a kid with brick kind of situation, right? And instead of having that wide vision, we're admiring the fine turf at Homer Scott Field. In the postseason, the little things become big things. And if we're taking it down off, or taking off the dead ball period to look at how well we tied our shoes, A, we're not officiating a damn thing, and B, we're not doing the right thing by these kids. So make sure, and we flub the spot. We're a yard off. Make sure we do the little things well. Make sure we keep our eyes where they're supposed to. We've got to be able to see things. This is a crew save opportunity, and we missed it. And so all this to say, I don't want to pile on too much more. It's not my intent at all, but just be mindful of these things. Talk to yourself. Okay, what's my pre-snap routine? Okay, plays over. Dead ball officiate. Okay, all these guys are separating. Okay, right into my pre-snap routine. Those things matter every down, regardless of level, but they're magnified at the postseason level. And instead, we took it down off here. And so I would encourage you to think about these things, talk about these situations, go through a really thoughtful, thorough pregame with your crew as things progress. The more we can announce prevention, right? So all this to say, I really would encourage you to, ooh, that's a good one. We're going to give a little bonus football here. I really would encourage you to do a solid pregame, take care of business here because that's what's going to matter. Little bonus football here. We have a finger whistle on the top screen here. Let's see if I can snag it real quick here. You can stay put, whistle, signal. Two things right there. A little bonus for you. Headlinesman, you can stay put. You don't need to move downfield at all. In fact, you have a better angle if you stay put. And then on this play, whistle, signal. No one-handed signals. Thank you for that. Officials, thank you. Thank you for your time this year. Thank you for all your hard work and your service to the state of Wyoming. Truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate your hard work. And no matter whether you go a little or a long ways this postseason, keep at it, keep getting better. I'm here as a resource, and I really appreciate all of you very much. Again, this is Tyler Spear, your state coordinator of football officials. Signing off. Be sure to like and subscribe and have a great postseason and offseason. Take care.